legato for a moment. Legato is when you, instead of picking all the notes, you either use hammer-on or pull-off. Hammer-on is and pull-offs is an example of a legato kind of run or so is this G major scale kind of thing. I'm just picking each string one time, and there are 3 notes per string, so that's kind of a legato kind of thing. Legato is a great technique to know because it's, first of all, it's kind of easy to play because you don't have to synchronize your hands since you are just using pretty much only your playing hand. And also it's great because you can easily move around the whole fretboard of the guitar, like really easily. The 3 major scale with 3 notes per string kind of lick is 3, 5, 7 on the lowest string, and the same on the A string. And on the D string it's 4, 5, 7, and the same on the G string. And on the B and the E string it's 5, 7, 8. So that's the G major scale. A lick that I used to play when I learned this kind of lick is I don't like to play scales like straight up and straight down. I don't think that's kind of a melodic way of learning the context of the scale. It's a good way to learn the scale itself, but when you have the shape kind of in your brain, just play around with it and have kind of just have fun with it and try to play it in a more melodic like context, because you learn the use of the scale instead of just learning the scale itself. So yeah, try to like experiment with the shapes and the scales that you are learning, because rarely you ever play the scales up and down in a solo. You play it like a solo, a proper solo. If you have the example of the G major scale, just the first 3 strings, you can just move that around anywhere. And if you're familiar with the names of the lowest string, if you're familiar with the note names of each fret of the lowest string, then you can create, just out of the G major scale shape, you can create any like major scale you need. For example, if you're playing in A major, you can just find the A note on the lowest string, and if you use the exact same shape as you did in the G major kind of run, and you just move the first note instead of G, you have A. Then you have the A major scale just by moving the shape up 2 frets. A major. So yeah, legato is a great technique for using the whole fretboard and having kind of an overview of what's happening on the fretboard. And also it's a great technique to learn to play kind of stretched out riffs or so. For example, a really common thing to play with legato is 1, 3, 5. Not necessarily 1 meaning the first fret of the guitar, but 1, 3, 5 like the intervals of each fret you are using. So for example, starting on the first fret on the lowest string, you play 1 and then 3 and then 5, just without actually picking the notes. And then you do that for all the strings. You're not changing anything, you're just changing the string. That's really good to exercise stretched licks, because obviously it's quite far apart, and also that goes with the playing all over the fretboard kind of thing. I find that a lot of guitar players have like fear areas or so with the guitar that, for example, with sweeping they don't like to play sweep licks down here or so. Which is understandable, it's not that easy. And with the absolute highest frets, many players don't like to play alternate picking that much, because there are parts of the guitar that are easier for each individual technique, and some of the strings are not that easy to do with the techniques as well. For example, the 1-3-5 kind of riff, I think it's easier on the lowest strings, and it gets kind of more difficult on the like thinner strings. It's possible, and it's not like super mega difficult, but I prefer the lowest strings. So for me personally, playing the legato lick on the lowest strings is the more fun, and playing them on the thinner strings, it's more of the like usefulness of the exercise. So with the 1-3-5 kind of shape, you can just play it down, and when you come to the 5th fret of the thinnest string, you can just move it up a fret, so you are technically playing 2-4-6 instead of 1-3-5, but the shape is still the same. The intervals are still 1-3-5, even though you are playing 2-4-6. So yeah, just move it up and down and play. Try to play the whole fretboard. It's not that easy, and it probably won't sound the same. Maybe you miss a note, or the lowest strings might sound lower in volume, or the higher strings get kind of sharp or something. But just play it, because it's a good stretching exercise. You will get stronger as you keep doing, and it will get easier. But just stick with it. And a really important thing when playing legato technique is that I don't like hardcore legato, when you are just playing the start note. That's the only note you're actually like picking, and then you're not playing anything else with the guitar pick. I don't like that kind of legato, because I find it to be too tiring, and then I'm really afraid of injuring myself if I practice hardcore legato too long. Yeah. For me, legato is kind of a technique you sort of hide in your licks, or you just use it as a sort of a bridge from one theme or one thing to another. It's not necessarily used for the technique itself. For example, The Day That Never Comes by Metallica has a legato lick in it that I still to this day, even though I have covered it on my main channel, I still to this day cannot play the lick as I want to, because it's too tiring. You're playing the whole song, and when you get to that area you are kind of tired already, but it's just beast mode. That's kind of 0-5-8 and 0-5-7, and then 0-4-7. That's not an easy lick to play, and that kind of demonstrates the legato I don't like. When you are holding the legato lick too long, I think it gets too tiring, and it's a really nice sounding effect. So I wish I'd be better at it. I'm not the best legato player, and I'm fine with that. But as I said, I like to kind of sneak it in here and there more than just hardcore playing only legato. For example, in the solo of Hail to the King, there is sort of legato runs, the way that I more prefer playing legato than playing like the Metallica way that's like super hardcore. That kind of last part, that's a lot of legato in the lick itself, but you can pick pretty much any note you like, and you find the notes that are most comfortable and you absolutely need to pick. That's the kind of way I like to play legato, because it's a really nice effect. It's super smooth to play with legato. When you play legato, you don't get the harsh kind of picking sound because you're not using the guitar pick at all. And it's a really nice effect. I really like it. But personally, I'm really aware of when I'm playing too much legato, because as I said, I find it really tiring to just be hardcore legato all the way. So I kind of watch out to practice it too much. But I really like it for the scales and the kind of stretching part. I like to practice properly, exercise the legato runs. But as far as the playing goes, like the melodic part of the playing, I like to kind of have it in the back of my mind more than like having a hardcore solo just by having legato. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a brief, I don't know, introduction or a brief talk about legato. If you want me to show more legato runs or so, I can probably make exercises of it. Honestly, I don't practice legato that much myself, other than when I have a solo that actually has legato in it, then I kind of automatically get the practice because I played the solo. But I don't sit down and practice legato properly. I haven't done that in a really long time. So yeah, if you want me, I can make some legato exercises or so. But yeah, if you have any questions, just comment on YouTube or ask on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Yeah. For example, starting on the first fret, you are playing 3, 1.